I am a physician, federal prison consultant today, and I thank you for taking the time to listen in. This is my homepage to the website, which has a lot of information. But what I'm going to jump into is this is a federal courts and Bureau of Prison news you can use. This particular article repeats itself and gets updated weekly. And so I'm going to come over here to that article. And this is the same place, federal courts and BOP news you can do is updated weekly. We're in 2026. Recently in the federal legal news, it's a publication that comes out weekly, I believe. There's a reason why you want to go and be prepared for your pre-sentence interview. If you have medical issues, you want to have a comprehensive medical record already prepared before you get to your pre-sentence interview for the probation officer, so that it can be embedded or woven into your pre-sentence report or become part of the official pre-sentence report. It's not a guarantee that you're going to get medical care, but at least it establishes a baseline. And the reason for that is follow. If you come to the point where you need to have a second opinion medical consult, first of all, that can take several years, up to 3 years, for you to actually have the appointments, be back to the facility, get the results of the tests, or get the results and recommendation of the Bureau of Prison, their expert medical specialist, which could be most likely someone who is in the local community. But understand that the Federal Bureau of Prisons, their clinical directors at each facility, there is one, is not obligated to follow their specialist medical recommendations. So if you have issues, it will help you immensely if this consult is based on an existing medical condition that you have. The clinical director retains the overall administrative and clinical responsibility for managing the inmates. And so we're going to go ahead and I quote here that the physician's clinical director is under no obligation to follow their own specialist recommendations. So I'm going to jump over here so that you can see these are the laws. These program statements are the laws by which the Federal Bureau of Prisons, under which they're structured. And if we're going to go to page 48, which takes me a little time to get there, 39, 47, 48. And right here on page 48, it says that the physician is under no obligation to follow their own consultant's recommendation. If the consultant's recommendations are not followed, the physician has to document this into their medical record. Well, that's wonderful. The problem is that how does that help you? It doesn't. And good luck suing the Federal Bureau of Prisons as an agency for malpractice. It's a big problem. And the Bureau of Prisons has these program statements for all sorts of issues. I'm going to go back here. I'll open again. This one is on patient care. They have another one that is regarding your security designation in custody, which part of that placement process is based on your medical care level or your medical needs. They have another program statement here. And this particular program statement is regarding psychology treatment programs to get into those that are available. But good luck with that. Because again, if you don't have in your comprehensive medical record the fact that this is needed, they have a limited number of programs in a limited number of facilities. And on top of all that, the Office of Inspector General and Department of Justice has already done audits of the BOP, and they're short-staffed everywhere, so that there may not even be room for you, or where there may be a waiting list to get into a program. And so this is a big deal. And then there is another one regarding the drug program RDOT, which is part of this psychology treatment program. And I repeated myself, I apologize, as well as how to managing aging offenders. And so that's a problem because for those that are over 50 years old that exhibit psychological, functional, or cognitive changes, medical care and accommodations ensure access to assistive technology, wheelchairs, hearing aids, specialized housing, lower level, proximity to restrooms, health services, chronic care clinics. I note here, this is aspirational and it doesn't happen right away. So if you're going to be entering prison thinking that you're going to get on, let's say, a lower bunk, don't assume it's going to happen. It needs to be written into your pre-sentence report. Special hearing aids, if you have it and it's part of your pre-sentence report, you may be able to come in with your hearing aid because it could take several years to even get a hearing aid once you're in prison. They had an example at FCI Harlong where an inmate was there over 3 months, went without seeing a doctor about their medications. There's a medically assisted treatment program is another trend for those that are undergoing withdrawal due to addictions either to alcohol or to narcotics. But the fact that this individual was not able to see a doctor for 3 months about their medications that dealt with high blood pressure, cholesterol, etc. This is not just at her alone. There was another gentleman, Nick Bovis, I believe is his name. I have it on my website, who had everything correct for his pre-sentence interview. He was on a very cheap diuretic water pill for high blood pressure. And when he went into the prison, they wouldn't give him his doses. They just decided on their own to change it. Then he had, transient ischemic attacks that sent him to the emergency room multiple times, and they changed the medication entirely. It got to the point where the federal judge had to order the Bureau of Prisons to release him due to compassionate release, and the judge was irate because getting sentenced to a time in prison, and I believe his term in prison was only going to be 9 months, but the judge said it's not supposed to be a death sentence. He's supposed to serve time for what he did wrong and then leave. And so it's very important, and having all of this information, especially if you have medical concerns before you enter the prison, is a very, very big deal. If in fact you find yourself in this position, there's something called the administrative remedy process, which is another challenge because the Prison Policy Initiative has documented that the Bureau of Prisons is not really granting people their compassionate release unless you go through the entire process. Essentially, they're making it very difficult for you to get the medical care, and two, be released in a timely fashion, or at least go through the process where you can take your concern to the courts. But it is a possibility. It is a vehicle, and I wouldn't give up. Really, I would. Should you have any questions, please feel free to, let's go to the top here, look over at my website. I'm a physician prison consultant. I'm here to answer your questions. Phone 240-888-7778. And I thank you for taking the time to listen today. Have a good day.